Bundle up and ready your ice axes as we delve into these astonishing frozen finds. Let's begin with number 15, an entire mountain range. In 1958, a Soviet expedition uncovered an entire mountain range buried under 600 meters of ice in Antarctica. The Gamer TV mountain range is absolutely massive. It extends for about 1,250 kilometers and has peaks as high as 3,390 meters in altitude. This makes the mountain range about as large as the European Alps. Yet, despite its size, its hard-to-reach location under ice means that scientists know pretty much nothing about its features. Number 14. Gold. While most gold is located underground, melting glaciers have revealed new deposits. During the last ice age, glaciers often transported gold-bearing rocks. Some of those golden rocks have become frozen inside the glaciers, and while the gold is usually scattered throughout as sediment, they've begun to reveal significant quantities of gold when the glacier melts. As global warming continues, glacial streams will likely see an uptick in gold volume, allowing some prospectors to strike it rich if they get the timing just right. Number 13, a new dinosaur species. In 1986, Argentinian geologists Eduardo Alero and Roberto Scasso found a new species of dinosaur on an expedition to Antarctica's James Ross Island. They found the bones of an ankylosaur under the ice, and while it took an entire decade to excavate the fossil thanks to the ground frost and the harsh weather, they uncovered a new species that's now called Antarctopelta, or Antarctic shield in English. To date, this one fossil is the only specimen of the species that's ever been found. Number 12, Yucca the mammoth in 2010. So, a group of Siberian tusk hunters came across one of the world's most incredible Ice Age relics, known as Yucca. She was a woolly mammoth that roamed the icy tundra about 39,000 years ago. She likely met her end after falling into a swamp and getting stuck, and it's due to this unique position that her lower body was almost perfectly preserved. In fact, it's in such good condition that scientists were able to extract flowing blood. As it turns out, that mammoth blood has a natural antifreeze. Yucca is now displayed in Moscow and would certainly be worth visiting on the next trip to the area. Number 11, a box of jewels. In 2013, a French alpinist was hiking across the glacier on Mont Blanc when he spotted a metal box in the ice. The box said "Made in India," and upon opening it, he found it filled with about 100 colorful gems, consisting of a mix of sapphires, emeralds, and rubies. Upon further investigation, it was discovered that the jewels had come from a crashed Indian Airlines flight from either 1950 or 1966. However, despite searching, authorities were unable to find the original owner. As a result, the decision was made to split the jewels in half, with both the alpinist and the owners of the land, leading to the alpinist going home with a cool $340,000. Number 10, grasshoppers. So while grasshoppers and glaciers are two things that, don't seem very compatible, you can actually get both of them in one place in the US state of Montana. Located within the Beartooth Mountains of Custer National Forest, the so-called Grasshopper Glacier is far different than the typical white glaciers you might expect. That's because it's got this grayish color, and well, this is because it has tens of millions of locusts located inside of it. Now, I'm not entirely sure how they got in there, but there are a couple of theories. The most popular is that centuries ago, a swarm of billions of them were migrating over the Rocky Mountains when they were suddenly trapped by a massive winter storm. The ice then froze some of the trapped specimens in time, creating the incredible sight that's there today. Now, Grasshopper Glacier, as it came to be known, caught the attention of scientists after being discovered in the early 1900s by geologist J.P. Kimball. When he sent samples of the insect species to the U.S. Bureau of Entomology in 1914, it was discovered that they were Rocky Mountain locusts. This was a species that went extinct over a century ago, likely due to their breeding grounds being overrun by the plows of farmers in the American West. So this discovery was a scientific treasure, as the freezing led to the locusts being very well preserved. And Grasshopper Glacier isn't the only locust-filled glacier around. In fact, until the late 20th century, finding frozen grasshopper remains was pretty common. However, lower snowfall rates since the late 1980s and higher temperatures have caused many similar glaciers to melt. So, if you want to see Grasshopper Glacier for yourself, I'd suggest making the trip sooner rather than later. Now, getting there is quite the trek. After all, you have to use an off-road vehicle for part of the way and then hike for several hours, often in the face of bad weather. And it is because of this that the glacier is only considered to be accessible from late July to September, making it a difficult yet worthwhile site to visit. Number 9. Allen Hills 88401. While the meteorite that wiped out the dinosaurs may be the most famous space rock, Allen Hills 88401 is a close second. Discovered in the Allen Hills ice field of Antarctica in 1984, this 1.9 kilogram igneous rock is thought to have crystallized from magma on Mars about 4.2 billion years ago, and later to have been shocked and altered, perhaps by one or more nearby meteoroid or asteroid impacts, into what it is today. By our estimates, it was formed as part of the crust on Mars about 4 billion years ago. It stayed there until about 17 million years ago, and then, after an asteroid hit Mars, it went spinning into space. From there, it zipped around for many years, before eventually landing in Antarctica about 13,000 years ago. While this makes the rock old and interesting, its age is far from its most controversial attribute. You see, in 1996, NASA scientists who carried out microscopic and chemical analyses on the meteorite made a shocking suggestion that the strange carbonate in the meteorite had been produced by Martian microorganisms. After all, the carbonate grains that were observed are associated with organic compounds and contain minute crystals of iron minerals similar in size and shape to those produced by bacteria. If this hypothesis was true, this would mean that, in all likelihood, there was life on Mars. Given we haven't found definitive proof of that so far, this would have been, to put it lightly, a big deal. However, in subsequent investigations, other scientists refuted these claims. They instead said the carbonate grains could be explained by non-biological processes. In 2022, these naysayers were proven right, as an authoritative report in the journal Science confirmed that the carbonate grains were not signs of life. Instead, they were created by water. Now, this shouldn't dash your hopes just yet. After all, there is still good science that suggests Mars may have once been hospitable to life. However, given the planet's current state, the chance of any life being found on Mars today is slim to none. And while this makes this piece of space rock a lot less exciting, it can still be visited today at the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History. Number 8. A baby mammoth. The Yukon's territory is known for its gold deposits, and on a rainy day in June of 2022, miner Travis Mudry was working away to extract some. Since the mines are covered in permafrost, he had to dig into a wall of hard, frozen dirt, and while doing so, he made a crazy discovery. Inside the muck, he spotted a dark, shiny animal with short legs. Suspecting he'd found a mummified baby buffalo, Mudry began inspecting the creature. However, he was in for a shock after he realized that the animal had a trunk. Upon showing his boss, all work was stopped and the experts were called in. While Grant Zazula, the Yukon government's paleontologist, wasn't able to arrive right away, he sent 2 geologists who rushed to the creek, surveyed the site, and retrieved the remains less than an hour before a storm struck. Once secured, the mammoth was wrapped in a tarp and brought to a nearby location for a ceremony. With scientists, miners, politicians, and First Nations elders gathered in a circle, the elders offered a blessing and named the mammoth Nunoa, which means big baby animal in their language. After a quick examination, they ruled that Nunoa was female, who was probably about a month old when she passed away more than 30,000 years ago. Based on where she was found, it's more than likely that she was grazing with her mother when she strayed from her mother's side and got stuck in the mud, leading to her death. Now, the reason why Nunoa was so well preserved is likely due to her quick passing and the unique location of her final moments. You see, in most parts of the world, only the fossilized bones of Ice Age creatures remain. However, in the Yukon, permafrost acts as a sort of freezer, preserving soft tissues like muscle, skin, and hair, alongside the important information like DNA. It's because of this that, in recent decades, miners in the territory have unearthed the well-preserved remains of several different animals, with their findings including a wolf pup, a caribou calf, and giant camels. In any case, Nunoa now holds the title of being the first complete baby woolly mammoth found in North America, and only the second in the world. As such, her discovery was an incredible stroke of luck and of great importance to the scientific and archaeological community. Moving on to number 7, an AC-53 Sky Trooper Dakota. On November 18th of 1946, a C-53 Sky Trooper Dakota took off from Tulln Air Base near Vienna, Austria, bound for Pisa in northern Italy. The plane was carrying several high-ranking Allied officers and their families, and so, in order to play it safe, Captain Ralph Tate Jr. decided to take a 2-day-long route that would take them through Munich and Marseille in order,